Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
In a recent speech by President Obama, he addressed the topic of human trafficking. This is a significant issue. We're going to be talking about it today on Faith and Freedom. I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, in a speech just delivered this month, President Barack Obama addressed the issue of human trafficking, saying that it is a priority issue of his administration and that it ought to concern every American because it is a debasement of our common humanity, he said in his recent comments. He also talked more about the issue of human trafficking. Obviously, human trafficking is a significant issue, one that we ought to put our resources in to stop. It is, in fact, recently in my home area of Orlando, Florida, it was reported in the news that a prostitution ring or a human trafficking ring was busted on the I-Drive corridor down there where all the entertainment and so forth is in Central Florida. And they had actually had two young girls that they had apparently forced against their will to ultimately engage in sex with regards to their human trafficking of these young girls. They were unable to escape. Fortunately, the ring has been ultimately cracked, and there's recently been some arrests made. But it's shocking when it happens in your own home community.
Yeah, this is a topic that people, I think, don't really have a clear understanding because you don't typically hear a whole lot about it. And we need to hear more about it because this is a pervasive problem, not just internationally, which it is. We do see it a lot abroad, but it affects us right here in the United States. Domestically, there are people that run away, young people, teenagers and so forth, that get caught up and get sucked into these brothels and so forth, and they become slaves, sex slaves, and are trafficked here and around the world. And there are hundreds of thousands of people that are being abused in this manner and are being sold as particularly sex slaves around the world. This is a huge problem that people don't really know about.
Well, in his message, President Obama says it ought to concern every nation because it endangers public health and fuels violence and organized crime. I'm talking about the injustice, he said, the outrage of human trafficking, which must be called by its true name, modern slavery. Of course, those are strong words and obviously very true. But the problem is that those words don't seem to match what the administration has actually done. I do know an individual who is still employed with the Department of Justice, but he was actually heading up the Human Trafficking Division under the previous couple of administrations. He was involved in prosecuting human trafficking. In fact, he was one who was involved in breaking up the ring in Texas that was bringing in women from various parts of Asia. They would fly them into California, and when they get off the plane, they would be taken to the Victoria's Secret to get their wardrobe. When they would protest, saying that they came here for domestic reasons, they would say, no, this is your job. They would then buy them their wardrobe at Victoria's Secret, take them to Texas. They put them in these brothels in Texas, and against their will, they forced them into prostitution. He was involved as part of the Department of Justice in the Human Trafficking Division in prosecuting those kinds of things. But within 2 hours of the inauguration of President Barack Obama being sworn in January of 2009, within 2 hours he was called into a meeting and told that his department had been redistributed and disbanded, and he was then put on another assignment. And so that human trafficking prosecution division within the Department of Justice was shut down within 2 hours of the inauguration. So the rhetoric, the words, just don't seem to match the actions of the administration.
I think something interesting that this sex trafficking issue relative to the Obama administration has underscored brings us back to the Democratic Party's national platform, which puts abortion up front and center. And this president also, and this is just a fact, prior to under George W. Bush, the Catholic bishops, the Conference of Catholic Bishops, had received $19 million in grants to help their sex trafficking efforts to prevent sex trafficking. And they had helped over 2,700 victims of sex trafficking. But because they would not provide abortions or counsel victims to have an abortion if they were pregnant, President Obama refused to renew those grants. So that has really hobbled the Catholic bishops in their efforts.
Yeah, I mean, because the Catholic organization that was doing a great job to reach out and help these women and bring them out of the human trafficking slavery that they were part of, because they would not counsel the women to have abortion because it was contrary to their religious belief, the president then revoked that funding and gave them a quid pro quo. If you want the funding, you must counsel these women to have an abortion. And when they said we can't do that, it violates our religious belief, the funding goes away. So, the speech is one thing. And certainly I agree with the speech with respect to the fact that human trafficking is a blight. It is modern slavery. It is a horrendous attack on the dignity of you and I, these women that are made in the image of God. It's a problem that oftentimes is bigger than people realize. Most people don't realize how widespread human trafficking is. Sometimes you see these photographs of these prostitutes on a street corner. Many of those are not there because of their own will. Many of those young girls are forced into that situation. They're runaways, or they're from other countries, and they're threatened, like in this case with regards that I was telling you about in Texas, where they broke up that ring. These women came to America to try to help their families because they are so poor in their foreign countries. When they came to America to try to get money for them, they're then put into this human trafficking sex rings. And if they try to escape, they're threatened with their lives. And they're also threatened that their parents will be killed, or the parents will ultimately be sent a bill for all the work and the cost that these rings have put into these individuals. And they will be embarrassed. And so they have such a respect for their parents, they will then continue to be in these human trafficking situations until they're extricated. So the rhetoric is fine. The actions are completely contrary to the rhetoric, however.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm glad that President Obama has drawn some attention to this by mentioning this before the UN. But, the old saying, actions speak louder than words. I hope that he would now take action and would restore, certainly, the aid, the federal aid that was given to Catholic bishops, $19 million in order. This is such an atrocious, a horrible, horrible thing that we see happening to young people and to the least of these. This is an opportunity for President Obama to do the right thing and to restore the funding and to remove this. Abortion is going to always be a point of divide between those who support life and those who support so-called the pro-choice message, and to force people to violate their conscience or otherwise be completely cut off from any kind of aid, I think is really unfortunate. So I hope this president will do the right thing and restore the funding to Catholic bishops. They're doing wonderful work.
Well, Congressman Darrell Issa from California serves on an oversight committee. The Committee on Oversight and Government Reform has begun an investigation into the revocation of this grant. He says the investigation has uncovered many disturbing facts about the grant awards process, including the most experienced and top-rated national applicant was not selected, and lower-ranked organizations were somehow funded. The process was delayed for months while the agency struggled to find ways to inject new criteria into the process, and of great concern, the judgment of experienced career-level professionals was discarded when political appointees chose to overrule transparent decision-making. That's very disturbing words from Congressman Darrell Issa as part of this government oversight with regards to this grant. I think that we need to have accountability with regards to this issue, and we need to look past the words to the actions of our elected officials and make sure that those elected officials are doing the right thing. For more information on what you can do to become involved in your community to advance life, liberty, and family, go to Liberty Counsel's website at lc.org. That's lc.org. You can also make an online contribution to Liberty Counsel. We're a tax-deductible a 501c3 organization. providing education, litigation, and also public policy all over the country to advance those issues of life, liberty, and family. You can go to Liberty Counsel's website at lc.org. You can also learn more on the website regarding our resources. We have resources on public schools and also what pastors and churches can do to educate the electorate regarding the positions of the candidates. All of that is available, plus much more. And if you know of issues in your community, give Liberty Counsel a call today, 1-800-671-1776, or again, go to our website at lc.org.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.